Let's jump right in. Today, we're putting on our consumer safety hats for a really rigorous, data-driven product audit. In the world of online service marketplaces, it can be incredibly tough to separate the genuine experts from just digital noise. Well, as an advocate for consumer safety and platform transparency, I'm always on the hunt for clear, verifiable data points before I ever recommend a service. So, today, we're analyzing a highly rated Fiverr Pro branding gig from a seller named Explorance. We're going to cut right through the marketing fluff, looking strictly at the platform data, the actual deliverables, and the verified social proof. We really want to see exactly how a top-tier digital product operates. So if you've ever hesitated before clicking Buy on a freelance platform, this explainer is going to show you exactly how to audit a service page for maximum consumer safety.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. First up, we'll audit the Fiverr Pro designer. Second, we'll do a breakdown of the offer. Third, the deliverables explained. Fourth, we'll check out the frequently asked questions to find the fine print. And finally, number 5, what clients are actually saying.
All right, Section 1, the Fiverr Pro designer, auditing the seller.
Look, before we even look at what's being sold, we absolutely have to look at who is doing the selling, right? We need to establish a baseline of trust. And the very first metric, the seller, Juhi, explicitly claims on her page is 11+ years of experience as a brand strategist and identity designer. Now, from a consumer confidence standpoint, this is absolutely vital. We aren't looking at someone who just downloaded a design software yesterday. We're evaluating a seasoned veteran here. When you're investing in your business's core visual identity, this kind of documented tenure significantly lowers your risk as a buyer.
But hey, we don't just take the seller's word for it. We always look at the transparent data Fiverr provides. So Juhi is a vetted pro, which means she was literally handpicked by Fiverr's dedicated team for her expertise. She's based in India, she's been on the platform since August 2020, and she boasts a blazing fast 1-hour average response time. But honestly, the most important metric here is this: 16 orders currently in queue. In marketplace algorithms, queue size is the ultimate indicator of active consumer demand and trust. 16 concurrent buyers are trusting her with their brand right now. That is a massive green flag for safety.
Moving on to Section 2, breakdown of the offer. What is the starting point?
Now that we've verified the seller's credentials, let's get into the mechanics. What's truly interesting here is how proactively the seller handles scope management. Right there on the page, the service splits into 2 very distinct paths: if you already have a logo versus if you need a logo too. As a consumer advocate, I gotta say I absolutely love this. It instantly eliminates any potential scope confusion. You aren't forced to pay for a new logo if you just need a style guide for an existing one. And if you're starting entirely from scratch, well, that path is clearly laid out too. This upfront clarity is exactly what prevents buyer's remorse and sets a really solid foundation.
To really ground our value assessment, we're anchoring this audit on the basic tier, which starts at $125. For this price point, the consumer gets the essential identity package with a rapid 3-day delivery timeframe. Now, in the world of professional brand strategy, a $125 entry point is incredibly accessible. But the real question we have to answer is, what tangible value is the buyer actually receiving for that investment? Let's move to Section 3 and find out. The deliverables explained, what you actually get.
All right, it's time to pull back the curtain on the actual digital assets you get. Here's the comprehensive list of deliverables. You get a custom logo design, specific rules on how to use it, including those all-important safe zones, a full color palette, typography guidelines, and brand application mockups. But listen, the absolutely most crucial data point on this list for your long-term safety as a buyer is the inclusion of print and web-ready source files. We're talking specifically AI, EPS, and SVG formats here. Providing native source files means the seller isn't holding your brand hostage. You get full independence to take these files to any printer, any developer, or any designer in the future. And that right there is the hallmark of a secure, transparent service.
The seller actually ties all these technical files back to one core psychological benefit on their page, stating, "An inconsistent brand dilutes trust." And you know what? They are absolutely spot on. The reason you, as a consumer, should care about typography guidelines and color hex codes isn't just to have some pretty PDFs sitting on your hard drive. It's to empower your team to maintain visual consistency across literally every single platform. In today's digital landscape, brand consistency is exactly what converts a casual scroller into a trusting customer.
Which brings us to Section 4, frequently asked questions, finding the fine print.
So as consumer advocates, the FAQ section is exactly where we test for true platform transparency.
We're hunting for hidden clauses or any unexpected fees. The crucial point here is exactly how this seller defines a revision. They state super clearly that a revision means adjustments to the submitted design, stuff like font swaps or color updates. It does not mean starting over with a brand new concept. This is just a brilliant piece of clarity. It fairly protects the seller from endless scope creep, but it also protects you, the consumer, by setting a really clear, objective boundary on what you're actually entitled to ask for during that feedback phase.
The FAQ also gives us the timeline data. The process steps are clearly mapped out for us. It kicks off with an initial Zoom consultation. And by the way, a great transparency note here. While that initial call is chargeable, the fee is fully adjusted against your final package. Then there's a brand discovery questionnaire, followed by the design and revision phase, and it all ends with the final delivery of those full source files we talked about. There is literally no guesswork here. The buyer's journey is fully documented before a single dollar is ever spent.
Let's wrap up with Section 5, what clients are saying, social proof audit.
You know, a product page can promise the world, but we always have to cross-reference those claims against actual verified user feedback. When we look at the 71 reviews specifically for this gig, we see a heavy concentration at the top. 65-star reviews, 7 4-star, and 3 3-star. Now, as someone who analyzes platform algorithms all day, I actually really prefer seeing a few mid-tier ratings. It proves the reviews are authentic, right? They aren't artificially inflated by bots. The overwhelming ratio of positive feedback here gives us a very high degree of confidence in the service's reliability.
Fiverr also gives us a granular breakdown of that 4.8 average rating. We've got a 4.8 for seller communication, a 4.7 for quality of delivery, and a 4.7 for value of delivery. This level of consistency across all 3 areas is exactly what you want to see. It means the seller isn't just delivering a good final product, but they're communicating effectively along the way and pricing their service fairly relative to the market.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the policies we audited earlier actually play out in real life. User Alex1991 notes that the team was very patient, going back and forth, doing the adjustments with no questions asked. This directly validates that fair revision policy we saw over in the fine print. It proves the seller actually honors their commitments to the consumer, especially during those inevitable friction points of the creative process.
We also have this verified testimonial from user Sohara, who went in with only a vague idea and had the team breathe life into their vision. This proves the service's effectiveness specifically for early-stage founders who might be starting entirely from scratch. The data confirms the service isn't just for massive, established corporations. It's safely tailored to guide absolute beginners through the entire branding process.
So, as we wrap up this data-driven product audit, I really want you to turn the magnifying glass on your own business. Based on the rigorous standards we've just explored together, ask yourself, is your brand identity built on a secure, documented system with native source files and clear usage rules, or is it just a single logo file randomly saved somewhere on your desktop? If it's the latter, well, it might just be time to invest in your own visual consistency. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, stay safe out there.